How's it going, everybody? Dylan here from the TDs and Beer podcast. Recording this video today to talk some Supercross with y'all. It's terrible, terrible time of year for Supercross because, well, it's over. We got one more round left this weekend. Really, that just means that we're going to be handing out some championships, though. Before we get to all that, though, let's recap last weekend. Round 16 of the Supercross season. Salt Lake City won. First time in a while we had seen the East Coast 250 class, and it's looking a little rough. Colt Nichols was shook before the race even started. You know what? Let's back up a little bit more. Practice. Martin Davalos of the 450 class. He apparently had an injury. I didn't see the crash. I don't even know exactly what the injury was. But afterwards, he decided to call it a career. He announced his retirement. He said he was going to do it after the Supercross finale anyway. But with this injury, just doing it about a week earlier. So I wanted to go over some Martin Davalos career. Because he had a long career in the 250s. He spent a long time there, dating all the way back to 2006. Oh man, yeah, he spent a long time in the 250s. But in 2016, that was by far, well, maybe not by far, but that was a really, really good year for him. He was in the 250 East class. Starts out by winning round one, getting third in round two, so he still holds the points lead. And then round three was in Toronto, and he is from Ecuador, and round three was in Toronto. Now, the way I remember it, he was going to be able to get into Toronto, get into Canada, and race the round just fine. It was coming back that was going to be the issue. And, I'm not an expert on all these laws and shit. I have no idea how most of them work, but apparently that was going to be an issue for him. So he just decided not to even go to Toronto. In a short series like the 250 classes are, missing one race is practically a death wish. So, but I don't know what could have been done differently. It's just unfortunate. And then actually the next year, he jumps on the 450 for the outdoors for Husqvarna and gets 2 overall podiums. It basically what I'm getting at here is that the guy had a really good, really long career that ultimately ends with a bunch of disappointments. Because the guy never got a championship. He won a good handful of races, did really well for a really long time, but ultimately this whole career is a disappointment. And I don't like saying it, but it is what it is. Hopefully he can enjoy his retirement, though. I'm not a hater. I'm just calling it like I see it. But wish him all the best. Hopefully he enjoys his retirement. Good for him. Okay. Also in practice, Christian Craig, who was contending, no longer, was contending for that 250 East championship. Also had a big get off. I did see this crash, and it was in the rhythm section. He tried pulling off a triple, knew he was going to come up short, bailed on it over the bars. When he went over the bars, he actually looked like he landed pretty smoothly on the downside of that jump he was trying to hit. But apparently one of his feet, I want to say it was his left, got caught up. I don't know exactly what the injury was, but he came out for the heat race to give it a go. There was no effort there. I don't even know why he lined up. It was a complete waste of time. He did 3 corners at like putt speed. I don't know if he ever got out of first gear, and then he pulled off the track. There was no effort there whatsoever. I don't even know why he lined up. So that more or less hands the championship to Colt Nichols. There's only one other person mathematically alive in this championship race then, and that is Joe Shimoda. And I mean, of course, that's going to kind of mess with Colt Nichols's head, right? You know, your biggest competition is now out. Do you play it safe? Do you go for it and try to wrap it up? I mean, the one guy that is still eligible for this championship has been fairly consistent, but only like 2 podiums on the year, so not really too worried about him. So basically, if Shimoda gains 4 points or less on Colt Nichols, then Colt Nichols is the champion right then and there. Doesn't even have to worry about this final round coming up this weekend. Shimoda went out and won the race and gained 5 points on Colt Nichols. So he is mathematically still alive. As far as the race goes, Shimoda, it was an extremely impressive ride. He goes out and gets the whole shot, leads every lap, holds off Mosman for the first half of the race, who was giving him some heavy pressure. And then for the second half of the race, he held off his buddy Jet Lawrence. I mean, it was really, really impressive. Slightly less impressive ride by Colt Nichols. He got himself a bad start. He was, I mean, I already said it. He was basically head fucked. Just didn't know really how to approach the race. But yeah, he got himself a bad start, carved his way through the pack. He ended up 3rd. So the podium was Shimoda, Jet Lawrence, and Colt Nichols. Mosman ran well for a while, then started making some mistakes. Him and Jet got into it again. That was kind of fun to watch. But so yeah, now Colt Nichols has a 25-point lead over Shimoda. It's pretty much over, but we'll get into the championship scenarios in a little bit. The 450 race, Roxon just threw it away again. I mean, that's all it is there is to it. He was out leading all by himself. I think he had like an 8-second lead at one point over Muskin, who was running in second. Cooper Webb was hanging around 5th or 6th there for a while. It looked like Roxon was going to gain a significant amount of points on Webb and make this final round interesting. And then Roxon has an unforced error and goes down all by himself. This time it was even in the corner before the whoop section. It wasn't even the whoops. Going down in the whoops by yourself is understandable, but you can't make that mistake when you're trying to gain points like he did at Atlanta 3 the week before. This time he didn't even go down in the whoops. He went down before the whoops. Completely throws it away. I don't know what is going on with him. He's just acted he's rode all year like he didn't want it. And I don't know what's going on. But he got back up like in 5th or 6th and then lost another position. So he ended up 6th or 7th. I'll look it up here real quick. He ended up 6th. Cooper Webb got his stuff together about halfway through the race, like he usually does. Made some passes, hunted down Muskin, because Muskin now inherits the lead from Roxon going down. And I really expected there to be some team orders here and just have Muskin pull over and let Cooper Webb by. We've seen it before from this very KTM team, from Marvin Muskin. I believe it was 2017, 2018. He pulls over and lets Ryan Dungey by. That didn't happen this time, though. Muskin has had a pretty rough year, and they wanted to, I guess they just let him race it out. And he ended up with the win. Congrats to him. Like I said, it's been a rough year, very inconsistent. I think he's only had 2 podiums on the year, maybe one other top 5. The rest of the time he's been having around 10th or so. It hasn't been good. But this is a hell of a ride here at Salt Lake. We'll see if he can do it again, but this is a huge points gap for the championship. And actually, I got all the championship scenarios right here. Let's go through them. So Webb now has a 22-point lead over Roxon, and Roxon needs to finish 1st or 2nd to have a chance. If he finishes 3rd, it's over. No chance. Webb could just sit in the grandstands the whole time. He'd sit and he'd grab a seat in the stadium, not even race. If Roxon gets third, Webb still wins. Doesn't matter. Okay, so Roxon has to finish first or second, but if Webb gets 19th or better, it doesn't matter. Roxon can win, and Webb gets 19th, which is easy for a guy like Webb. He's very smart, very consistent. He knows what he has to do. He's just going to go out there and put in the laps. It's nothing crazy is going to happen here. Webb's going to be our champion for the second time in 2 years. 250 East. Nichols has a 23-point advantage over Joe Shimoda. Joe Shimoda has to win. If he gets second, it's over. You know, Cooper Webb and Colt Nichols could be chilling out in the stadium. Doesn't matter. But if Nichols gets 20th or better, it won't matter if Shimoda wins. I mean, that's just how it is. These are not going to be very exciting. These two, anyway. The last one here is a little bit more exciting. Actually, maybe I spoke too soon. It's all a little bit more exciting because there's 3 contenders here for this one. 3 riders still alive anyway. We got Justin Cooper with a 20-point lead over Hunter Lawrence and a 22-point lead over Cameron McAdoo. So again, McAdoo has to finish first or second to have a chance, and Hunter Lawrence has to finish inside the top 3. Fourth, it's over. But having said all that, as long as Justin Cooper finishes 17th or better, it's over. And he's again way too smart, way too consistent. All 3 of these guys have been extremely consistent this year, and that's why they're here. That's why they're leading the points. That's why they have such big points leads. I don't see anything crazy happening in either one of these races. As far as the points goes, now I do fully believe that the 250 West is going to dominate the 250 East this year. Love getting these East-West showdowns because, I mean, you never really know what's going to happen when all these guys come together, right? You got the best of the best from each class coming together, and it just makes for a ton of fun. The East has just been absolutely decimated by injuries this year, though. I think there was like 5 or 6 guys in the 250 LCQ last weekend. Basically, if you showed up with a 250 and you wanted to race, they were going to let you in. I mean, they had that many empty gates. Usually they're cutting guys off in practice, you know, because you have to qualify to get into the night show, and then you have to qualify in the heat races and last chance qualifiers to get to the main event. No, they didn't turn anybody away for this. I mean, it's been so decimated. So that and Colt Nichols having such a huge points lead, and I believe, well, we got Jet Lawrence in the East, and he might be as fast or faster than those other 2 guys, Hunter Lawrence and Cameron McAdoo. But Hunter Lawrence, Cameron McAdoo. You also have Garrett Marchbanks out west. I mean, Seth Hamaker out west. The West is loaded, and these guys are going to dominate. I'm going to say 6 or 7 of the top 10 guys are going to be West Coast riders at the finish line. We'll see how that goes. Now, what happens next year? After Justin Cooper, let's just go ahead and crown them. Justin Cooper and Colt Nichols won championships. What happens next year? Who's coming back to defend, and who gets bumped up to the 450? Coming into this year, I was 100% sure that Christian Craig and Jeremy Martin were both done in the 250s after this year. Of course, Jeremy Martin would get a pass, having been injured at the first round. Christian Craig, though, having raced basically all season, I didn't think he was going to get a pass. You know, he was going to get forced to the 450s and be a rookie next year. But I found something here on this, and they change the rules every fucking year. It seems like on uh to eligibility and who gets point. They call it pointed out, but they basically do whatever they want. Um, and what this article says is basically Jeremy Martin and Austin Faulkner, if they would have won titles, they would have been forced out. If they would have won titles, they would have been forced out. Me, so they could have rode all year, not won a title, and still stayed in the 250s. I mean, they both had early injuries. I think Austin Faulkner was round 2 of his championship. Jeremy Martin's was round 1 of his. But they could have rode all year. According to this, I'm not 100% sure if I understand this correctly because it is very confusing. But I believe that if they would have rode all year long, not won championships, they still could have came back to the 250. Now, as far as the champions go, Colt Nichols and Justin Cooper, they're going to be allowed back. So it is very possible that we don't have any 450 rookies next year, which is a little irritating to me. There is no other sport that you don't get at least. I mean, most sports you get a bunch of incoming rookies, right? Or freshmen, or whatever level they're at. You get a bunch of them coming in, and who to look out for and watch their growth and how exciting they're going to be over the next few years. The Supercross, we don't get that every year. I mean, last year, what we have? Sexton, Ferrandis, McElrath. I want to say there was another one that came in this past year. Oh, Hartraft. So there was 4 rookies this past year. The year before, there was another handful with Cian Cirillo and Savachi and Justin Hill. I want to say there was another one that year too, but this year or next year, it doesn't look like we're going to get any. The one exception to that might be Christian Craig. I could see him just jumping up there on his own, but I know he wants a 250 championship. Jeremy Martin's really in the same boat, but I know he really wants a Supercross championship. He already has like 1 or 2 motocross 250 motocross championships. Christian Craig doesn't have any, so I mean, they both done really well on the 450s when given an opportunity, but given how important that 250 Supercross championship is, I mean, that's how you make your money at the next level. That's how you get such a good rookie contract, is getting that 250 Supercross championship. And so I really don't think we're going to see any 450 rookies next year, which sucks. That's all I got to say about it. It sucks. We got the NFL draft coming up this weekend where we know who's going to be the rookies. We got there's going to be 256 of them or something like that drafted this weekend. Not all of those will make teams, but there will be some that aren't drafted that do make teams still, So there's going to be a ton of rookies in the NFL next year, and 450, we don't get any. It's disappointing. I don't like the way it's set up, but it is what it is. And you know what? We hardly ever see rookies compete for championships in Supercross. 2 times has it ever happened. Jeremy McGrath in 93 and Ryan Dungey in 2010 are the only rookies to win Supercross championships. Are the only 2 rookies to win Supercross championships. So it doesn't happen very often, or it never happens, and they hardly ever compete. So the greatest of all time, Ricky Carmichael, he had a very bad rookie year, but it's exciting to watch him go from a very bad rookie year to the greatest of all time. And we aren't going to have that this upcoming season. Anyway, I'll quit harping on that. One more round of Supercross. Got to take advantage of it. Let's see when the motocross season starts. So we'll have 3 weekends off before we go motocross racing. And personally, I like the motocross season just a little bit more. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of it has to do with Eli Tomac. I love watching him come from like 15 seconds down with 5 minutes to go on the race and chasing everybody down and ended up winning the race like 10, 12 seconds over second place. It's amazing. So much fun to watch, especially when they get a shot of Tomac and whoever he's chasing in the same section. Then you can really see how much faster Tomac is. It's incredible. Yeah, we're gonna have 3 weekends off. Guess we'll just have to wait. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Come check out the podcast. We post new episodes every Monday and Friday. I don't always get to talk about Supercross and motocross, but I try. We do always talk about some football, basketball, all the major sports, and then whatever else we find interesting. It's always a good time. Come check it out. We'll see you guys over there. Thanks.